Hey, you all. I'm checking in on a Sunday afternoon. I just thought I'd maybe share just a little bit of my weekend with you. Cheers. I've had a really good weekend. It's like, even though it's not summer yet, it was like this weekend was like the first weekend of summer everywhere. But, locally here in my town, Omaha, everyone was out. It was sunny, hot. There were a lot of things going on, still happening today, Sunday. So a lot of good vibrations. I finally broke out this T-shirt. I think someone from Brazil gave this to me. I do forget, but it's this fantastic Yellow Magic Orchestra T-shirt, which ties into some events. I will show some music, but what I'm sharing is musical. So I told you that I recently was basically commissioned, really, I received an honorarium for it, but I'll call it a commission because it ended up being a partnership between myself and the artist Charlie Friedman. His installation, Soundscapes for the Present Future, the 60 plus guitars, mandolins, and basses hung from the ceiling and played through a MIDI and these engineered devices, picking devices on each guitar. Fantastic event. The opening reception was Saturday, and besides that installation at the Bemis Gallery or Center for Art, there were several other things being presented that were all kind of somewhat related. One of the other pieces was this thing related to being I am a human being, and one of the artists whose installation involved tapes, and he had them strung physically throughout the room. Marcus Fisher. Was wonderful to see him and meet him. Turns out that you folks may have heard of him. I had heard of him but didn't realize it. He's collaborated with Ryuichi Sakamoto and Taylor Dupree, and I had watched his video that he did with Sakamoto regarding Incomplete, this series that Sakamoto presented. Really good stuff. And his set was really cool. It really kind of, in a way, included me because he works with sampling and found sound, as well as did some really cool things with the guitar and tuning forks. But he sampled some of the installation, and so consequently, some of the notes heard or chords heard, because I recognized them in the piece where he used the installation sample was one of my pieces, and then we got to talking, so anyway, also Andy Garlock, who works down there, and Andy, you share with me that you watch the videos. Andy, I really appreciate you, and no problems, brother. Matter of fact, I didn't even notice any shortness with you, brother. I like, just imagine, I've been in a million bands, and at my age, it's like, geez, I'm used to straight talk, and ain't no big thing, say what you got to say, yeah, you were busy. I just noticed a couple guitars, or maybe it was one that was out of tune at the installation. And then me, with my clumsy self, I ended up accidentally disconnecting one of the boxes. But anyway, the overall experience was fantastic. I think really the best thing I can do is leave a link to the event, because it will lead you to a lot of clips that are online of stuff being played, rather than me trying to incorporate them on this video. Had some friends in town from Albuquerque. Stephen Bluehorse is his name, actually. Big Native American brother of mine, and his current partner, Lisa. Good to see them after COVID. He and I have some deep history. The man, on the surface, if you don't really know him, can really give you a real wrong impression. He's a deep, wise man. It was great to see them, and healing. What I'm trying to say is Stephen is someone who is like family, knows me in a way that was able to tell me some things that I needed some attention, and he kind of put his foot in my ass a little bit, like a big brother, even though I'm older than him, but very lovingly. Man, I don't get that, I really appreciate it. So, bought some records. Grapefruit. Simon Joyner's shop is the bomb. He is getting stuff that I want, and the reason why Homer's doesn't order the stuff is because they don't. Their base is real. The stuff would sit. I understand, so that's why this sort of stuff doesn't come into the that store that often. But Simon is on my wavelength. I picked this up at his store. This been wanting a reissue of this. I've got it on CD. But Trees, The Garden of Jane Delawney. This period of English folk rock, I just love it. It's like a time warp thing for me when I listen to this music. It is the quality of the music, the songwriting and everything, but it's also, there's something about the overall feel of the time of the music that is nostalgic for me, and I love it. It's kind of a comfort zone. I was so happy to find this there. I found two more at his place that I was super happy to find, but been wanting both these albums because you can't buy originals for less than $1,000, which I'm not going to do. Clive's original band, C.O.B, Spirit of Love, related to incredible string band. I love this. I have the other one, Moishi, the other one. Oh, talk about simplicity, but capturing Spirit of Love. I feel it, and it sounds like that. Oh boy, I love it. I love it. I really feel this music. I really relate to it personally. Was real happy to find that. And the other one that I found, which I had to pay the most for, but don't mind at all, and it's like, wow, I got a copy. It's a reissue, but wow. Pedro Santos, Krishnanda. Do you know about this album? This is seriously, the kind of money that it goes for, beyond the fact that it's probably really hard to find a good copy in good shape. This album is phenomenal. Everything about it. There's like, I don't know the whole story here, but I've listened to this already a couple times. I'd heard it before, but since buying it, it's like this just kind of just sets me down. And it's like the vocals, the arrangements, the breadth of the music, then the use of sound concrete, and then the overall psychedelicness of it, and then this underneath it, even though I don't speak Portuguese, I capture the spiritual aspect. It's wow. Pardon me. That's why I love music so much. It isn't the coffee, people. It might be just a slight bit, but it's the music. But also I'm still feeling the love of my friends, family. I'd say I didn't see my family, but Big Steve is like family to me. There's a whole connection to the young people that I helped to raise, who I didn't get to see them all together, but he got together with Terry and Sarah and David, and they're like my mom and her kids, my kids. Long story. A lot of good feelings, though. A lot of good feelings. And seeing some other good friends. Seems like I'm forgetting to say something, but I'm always. Some of the music that's sitting out. I just played this, hadn't played this forever. It's a classic song, Black Metallic by Catherine Wheel. This was one where it became kind of popular to the point that I was hearing it so much, and then I stopped listening to this particular song. So I hadn't heard it for years. But it's one of those songs that it goes for the epic. It's an epic song, Black Metallic. It succeeds in being a classic epic song. Teardrop Explodes. Now, here's one that just never got found out about. Now, people know about Teardrop Explodes, but this particular 12-inch, You Disappear From View, the B-side, Ouch Monkeys, I wish I could play it for you. It's a very unique song, and it's incredibly, for my taste, just what I love. It's almost prog, but it's beyond that. It's all this atmosphere, and the words are personal and weird at the same time, and the music is very cinematic. That's what I want to get to. Besides this, it's cinematic. It's like, this is, people ask me to make these lists, okay? I want to respond to that. I can't do it, guys, because it's too hard. I'm too old, and I've been at this too much. Trying to list favorites of each year, I can't, you know. It would really, if I endeavored to do it, I'd have to study my own collection to do it. That's not what I'm interested in doing. So I just wanted to respond to that. What I'm showing you, just roll with it. I'm showing you the stuff that I love. I recommend it, Here's another band that I think is just one of the best, Wire. And this album of theirs, The Ideal Copy. The whole album is just like, they have this vision of music that they started during punk that had nothing to do with punk. But that, thank goodness, that kind of opened the gate for them. Because there's no other bands that do what Wire do. And a lot of their lyrics make no sense at all to me. Which is fine, because it's the music. And I get soul from Wire. I get this feeling of soul. That's the word. Canadian band, Maneige. Montreal, 6 a.m. Jazzy. Good compositions, good playing. Some things just border on the trite, but they always rescue themselves. The last song on side one of this, Papazov, I think is exceptional. It's one of my personal favorites, okay? A list of favorite songs along with some of my favorite Peter Gabriel songs, and see my head, it's like all this stuff, this is all my favorites. But Papazov is one of those favorite songs, okay? Here's one I got during COVID. Brave New World, a reissue of this. It came out in the 70s on Vertigo, so to find an original copy of this, you're going to pay. It's a concept album based on the main guy who put this together, his thoughts after reading Brave New World, 1984. And this is very real good. It's jazz, prog, rock, and more. Brave New World, really, really excellent. Okay, so this is an old favorite album of mine. This might be my third copy. This goes back to 1969, Manfred Mann, Chapter 3. Luckily, this was an album I was able to get at about the time it came out, and I wore it out, literally. There was no point in keeping my original copy. It was so damaged. Mr. You're a Better Man Than I. This is the best version to many people have done this song. Sometimes. I also have the other one on Vertigo. I do have. Grab it right quick. There's Maniche. Yes. So this is collectible. The other Manfred Mann Chapter 3, Volume 2 on Vertigo. But I like this one better. I do. I like this of the two albums. I like this one much, much better. some discussion got going on. Yeah, I'm gonna let this go and let it be a long one. I posted this Griffin album, which someone sent to me, Get Out of My Father's Car. And it's really interesting how people are divided. You know, people can really get hung up on the past and comparing things to the past, not having the perspective that when you get older, you know, you cannot repeat your past, and that's not what it's about. And to me, as a person who makes music, I get frustrated with that feedback from listeners. But it's well, it's mainly they don't know what it's like to be to be an artist. You don't repeat your past unless that's all you're trying to do is chase ghosts. What I'm saying is this Griffin album is not like their old stuff. It's a continuum of the Baroque, whatever kind of you want to call this prog that they play. But this album has quite a bit of humor on it. And that seems to put half of the fans off. Didn't bother me. Was listening to... keep going here. Again, even before talking to Marcus Fisher about Sakamoto and Haruomi Hosono from Japan are two musicians that I highly respect and revere because of the way that their works have had an effect on me, especially when I first heard them. Like, for example, these albums by Halsono, which are very electronic, now they're sounding a bit dated. That's honest, because of the use of drum machines and literally it being the beginning of doing these ideas. But this SFX album with Friends of Earth, still very groundbreaking. And this one, Philharmony, wow. The cover, look at the cover, you know, it's like visionary. A lot of techno and electronic and hip-hop music has definitely been influenced by Halsono, Sakamoto, and those guys in their work in electronics. I got some stuff, Brian, if you happen to see this. I got the stuff from you, the latest things from Public Eyesore. Can't talk about them just yet, okay? I need time. Because your stuff is a challenge, you know what I'm saying? And I want to encourage people to listen. But I also let it affect me, honestly, and so there's some things I'm not going to say, okay? Because I understand. I think I do, in ways I can't explain, what that whole stream of work is about, which I'm glad to be a part of. Okay, I hope I wasn't too rambling. The main thing that I'm focused on right now is how important it is for me and people in my life and us as individuals to do our part to set the tone for how we want things to be. So I'll share one more thing right quick. I ran into a lot of people this weekend. I went down on Friday, was it, and saw a couple of friends of mine who, I won't say their names, but a couple, and I used to play music with her husband, but the wife is the person I'm actually more in communication with, and they're pretty conservative, white, Republican, and it's necessary for me to say that, my love for them as humans is way more important than this political divide, philosophical. I was able to have enough words with, I almost want to say her name, because we were going to get together before COVID hit and discuss our governor, Pete Ricketts, who is a complete bastard. And she wanted to try to defend him to me, and I was saying, honey, we got to talk. And then COVID hit. But anyway, that lingering, I was able to connect with her and just say, this is what we need to do. We need to be out here being together, healing, okay? All right? Because it's really sick and insane what we're dealing with this, this mental madness, which is what politics basically does to people. Hey, I'll be good. I'll see you. I don't see you, but you know what I mean.